I didn't think anyone would tell him. That's what I keep trying to explain to everyone who judges me for what happened. I thought what happened in Vegas stayed in Vegas. That work trip culture meant everyone understood discretion. That my coworkers who saw me with Daniel at the hotel bar wouldn't mention it to anyone back home. I didn't think one of them would contact my husband directly with photos and details. I didn't realize my husband would take those photos and details and share them with everyone we know. I was catastrophically wrong about all of that. The hookup itself seemed like typical work trip behavior at the time. Conference in Las Vegas, 3 days away from home, late nights at hotel bars with colleagues, drinking and networking, everyone letting loose a bit because we were away from our normal lives. Daniel from the Chicago office flirting with me flirting back, both of us ending up in his hotel room after the group scattered. Just physical, just one night, just what happens on work trips when people are away from their regular responsibilities. I thought it would stay private, thought that what happened in Vegas actually stayed in Vegas, thought my coworkers understood the unspoken rule about discretion on business trips, that we all maintained professional facades back at the office, while acknowledging that boundaries get blurred when we're traveling for work. I was completely wrong. And my husband made sure everyone knew exactly what I'd done. My name is Nina. I'm 32 years old. I work as a sales director at a software company, making excellent money. I've been married to my husband Marcus for 7 years, together for 9 total. We have a nice house in the suburbs, normal life with 2 successful careers and comfortable routines. Marcus is a good husband, 34 years old, works as an operations manager at a manufacturing company, makes good money, reliable, steady, trusts me completely, or trusted me, until 3 weeks ago when everything fell apart because I hooked up with Daniel in Vegas and thought no one would tell Marcus. The work trip was a sales conference in Las Vegas, annual event where our entire sales team from across the country met for 3 days of presentations, networking, and team building. About 60 people total. I'd been to these conferences before, knew the culture, late nights at the hotel bar, people drinking too much, colleagues from different offices getting flirty, a few people hooking up discreetly, everyone going back to their regular lives on Monday and pretending none of it happened. Standard work trip behavior in corporate America. Daniel was from our Chicago office, 35 years old, attractive, charming, successful. We'd met at previous conferences, always had good chemistry, flirted casually but never acted on it. This time felt different, the drinks, the energy, the distance from our real lives. We both felt it. The first 2 nights of the conference were normal. Team dinners, presentations, drinks at the hotel bar with the group, professional networking with some flirting mixed in. Nothing inappropriate yet. The third night, Thursday, the formal conference events ended early. A large group of us went to the hotel bar around 9 p.m. Drinks were flowing. People were relaxed. The stress of presentations and networking was over. Everyone was celebrating the end of another successful conference. Daniel and I ended up sitting next to each other, talking and laughing, touching each other's arms, making intense eye contact. The chemistry was obvious. Several coworkers noticed and made knowing comments. "You two should just get a room already. The tension is killing us," laughing like it was all a joke, like work trip hookups were normal and amusing. Around midnight, the group started dispersing, people heading to bed or to the casino. Daniel suggested we have one more drink, just the 2 of us. I knew what that meant, knew where it was heading. I said yes anyway. We had another drink at the bar. The conversation shifted from professional to personal. We talked about our lives, our marriages, the stress of work, the freedom of being away from home for a few days. We both acknowledged we were attracted to each other. Both acknowledged we were thinking about going to his room. Around 1 a.m., Daniel asked directly, "Do you want to come up to my room?" I should have said no. Should have gone to my own room. Should have remembered I was married to Marcus and had no business sleeping with a coworker in Vegas. Instead, I said yes. Convinced myself it was just one night. Just physical. Just part of work trip culture. What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. Marcus would never know. It wouldn't affect my marriage because it was completely separate from my real life. We went to Daniel's room, had sex. It lasted about an hour. It was good, exciting, different from sex with Marcus. Felt risky and thrilling in a way married sex doesn't. Afterward, I went back to my own room around 3 a.m. Showered, got into bed. Felt guilty but also relieved. It was over. It was done. No one would mention it. Daniel and I would both go back to our regular offices and lives. What happened in Vegas would stay in Vegas. Friday morning, I flew home. Landed at 2 p.m. Marcus picked me up from the airport, asked how the conference went. I told him about the presentations and networking, mentioned going out with colleagues for drinks, didn't mention Daniel or the hookup, acted completely normal, like I hadn't just cheated on my husband 12 hours earlier. The weekend was normal. Marcus and I had dinner, watched movies, ran errands. I felt guilty occasionally, but pushed it down. Reminded myself it was just one night. Just a work trip thing. Not real infidelity because it was so separate from my actual life and marriage. Monday I went back to work. Expected everything to be normal. Expected my coworkers to maintain discretion about what happened in Vegas. Expected professional boundaries to be reinstated now that we were back in the office. Before we get into it, don't forget to like and subscribe, and hit hype to boost this episode. Drop a comment below with your city or country. I'm always curious where viewers are joining from. Tuesday afternoon, Marcus called me at work. His voice was cold and tight. "We need to talk tonight, as soon as you get home." "Is everything okay?" "No, everything is not okay. Just come home." He hung up before I could ask questions. I drove home with growing dread. Walked into our house to find Marcus sitting at the kitchen table with his laptop open. He looked at me with an expression I'd never seen before. Cold fury mixed with deep hurt. "Sit down," Marcus said. I sat across from him. "What's going on?" "I received an email this morning," Marcus said slowly. "From someone named Jennifer Coleman. She says she works with you. Says she was at the sales conference in Vegas last week. Says she felt I should know what my wife was doing while she was away on her work trip." My stomach dropped. Jennifer, junior sales rep, had been at the hotel bar Thursday night, had seen me leave with Daniel, had apparently decided to contact my husband. "Marcus." "Jennifer included photos," Marcus continued, "multiple photos from Thursday night at the hotel bar. You and Daniel sitting very close together, touching each other, looking at each other intimately. Then a photo of you two getting into the elevator together at 1 a.m., time-stamped, very clearly heading upstairs together. It's not what it looks like." "Jennifer also included details," Marcus said. "She said you and Daniel left the bar together around 1 a.m., that you went to his hotel room, that you came back to your own room around 3 a.m., based on the timestamp of you getting off the elevator. She said it was obvious to everyone in the group what was happening, that several people made comments about you two getting a room, that it wasn't discreet or subtle. I can explain. You had sex with a coworker in Vegas," Marcus stated. "You hooked up with Daniel from your Chicago office. You spent hours in his hotel room. Then you came home and acted like nothing happened. You lied to me about your trip. You betrayed me with someone you work with." "Marcus, I'm so sorry." "I called Daniel this morning," Marcus said calmly. "Found his contact information on your company website. Called his cell phone, asked him directly if he'd had sex with my wife in Vegas. He admitted it immediately. Said it was just one night. Said it didn't mean anything. Said he was sorry if it caused problems in my marriage. Very casual. Like fucking other people's wives on work trips is just normal business behavior. It was just one mistake. It was a deliberate choice, Marcus corrected. You chose to flirt with Daniel all night. You chose to have drinks alone with him. You chose to go to his hotel room. You chose to have sex with him. You chose to lie to me about it. Those weren't mistakes. Those were decisions. I was drunk. You were making conscious choices, Marcus said. You knew what you were doing. You did it anyway. Then you came home and pretended everything was fine. You were only caught because Jennifer decided to tell me. You never would have confessed. What do you want me to say? I want you to understand what's about to happen, Marcus said. You thought what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. You thought you could cheat on a work trip and keep it secret. You thought your coworkers would maintain discretion. You were wrong about all of that. And now I'm going to make sure everyone knows exactly what you did. What are you talking about? I'm making it public, Marcus said. You wanted your affair to stay private, to stay in Vegas, to stay secret from everyone in your real life. I'm making it public. I'm telling everyone what you did. Your family, my family, our friends, everyone will know you cheated on me with a coworker in Vegas. Marcus, please don't. It's already done, Marcus said. I sent an email to both our families this morning. Explained that you had an affair with a coworker named Daniel on your work trip to Las Vegas. Included the photos Jennifer sent me. Explained that you lied about it when you came home. Everyone knows now. Your parents, your siblings, my parents, my siblings. They all know you cheated. You told our families? I made it public, Marcus repeated. You wanted it private. You wanted to keep your affair secret. You wanted what happens in Vegas to stay in Vegas. I'm making sure it doesn't stay there. I'm making sure everyone knows. That's what you deserve for betraying me. That's cruel. That's appropriate, Marcus said. You humiliated me by cheating. Now I'm making sure your cheating is public knowledge. Everyone who knows us will know what you did. That's fair consequence for betrayal. He stood up. I'm staying at my brother's house. I've contacted a divorce lawyer. We'll be discussing separation and divorce proceedings. I'll be in touch through my lawyer about next steps. I don't want to see you or talk to you directly. Everything goes through lawyers now. Marcus, please. Check Facebook, Marcus said. I posted about it there too. Made a public post explaining that my wife cheated on me with a coworker during a work trip to Vegas. Tagged you in it. Tagged several of our mutual friends. Everyone in our social circle will see it. You wanted to keep it private. I made it completely public. That's your consequence. He walked out before I could respond. I immediately checked Facebook on my phone. Marcus had posted 3 hours earlier. I'm sad to announce that my marriage to Nina is ending due to her infidelity. She had an affair with a coworker named Daniel during a work trip to Las Vegas last week. She lied about it when she came home. I learned the truth from one of her colleagues who felt I deserved to know. I'm filing for divorce. Thank you to everyone who's reached out with support. The post had 147 reactions and 63 comments. People offering Marcus sympathy, people condemning me, people sharing the post. It was public, completely public. Everyone we knew had seen it or would see it soon. My phone started ringing. My mother, I answered. Nina, what is going on? Marcus sent us an email saying you cheated on him in Las Vegas with someone from work. Mum, it's complicated. Did you or did you not have sex with someone else while you were married? My mother asked sharply. I made a mistake. You cheated on your husband, my mother said, on a work trip. Then you lied about it. And now Marcus is telling everyone. He sent us photos of you with this Daniel person. Very intimate photos from a hotel bar. Is this true? It was just one night. You destroyed your marriage for one night with a coworker, my mother said. And now everyone knows. Marcus made sure of that. He emailed both families. He posted on Facebook. Everyone we know has seen it by now. Do you understand how humiliating this is? For us, for you. Marcus is being vindictive. Marcus is being honest, my mother corrected. He's telling people the truth about why your marriage is ending. You're the one who wanted to keep it secret. He made it public. That's what you deserve for cheating. She hung up. My phone kept ringing. Marcus's mother, my sister, friends, all calling about Marcus's Facebook post and email, all wanting to know if it was true that I'd cheated in Vegas. I didn't answer any of them, couldn't face the judgment, couldn't explain what I'd done, couldn't defend myself because I had no defense. Wednesday morning, my boss called me into her office. We need to discuss something serious. I received multiple inquiries from people yesterday claiming you had an inappropriate relationship with Daniel Reeves from our Chicago office during last week's conference. It was private. It was at a company event, my boss said. Multiple employees witnessed it. One employee felt strongly enough about it to contact your husband. And now your husband has made it public on social media, which reflects poorly on our company. This is a serious HR issue. What does that mean? It means we're investigating, my boss said. HR will be interviewing people who attended the conference, including Daniel. We need to understand what happened and whether company policies were violated. Romantic relationships between employees require disclosure. Inappropriate conduct at company events violates our code of conduct. This could result in disciplinary action. I could lose my job. That's a possible outcome, my boss said, depending on what the investigation reveals. For now, you're being placed on administrative leave while we sort this out. You'll receive your salary, but you need to stay home until we've completed our review. I was sent home, put on leave, under investigation, all because Marcus had made my Vegas hookup public and it had reached my employer. The days that followed were devastating. My phone wouldn't stop ringing. Everyone wanted to discuss Marcus's Facebook post. Everyone had opinions about what I'd done. Everyone was offering Marcus support while condemning me publicly. My father called. I saw Marcus's Facebook post. The whole community has seen it by now. People are talking. Our friends, our neighbors. Everyone knows you cheated on Marcus in Vegas. Dad, I'm sorry. You should be sorry to Marcus, not to me, my father said. But Marcus isn't interested in your apology. He's interested in making sure everyone knows what you did. And he's succeeded. Everyone knows. Your reputation is destroyed. Our family is embarrassed. All because you couldn't control yourself on a work trip. It was just one mistake. It was a choice to cheat, my father said. And then a choice to lie. And then Marcus made a choice to tell everyone the truth. You wanted to keep it secret. He made it public. That's fair. That's what happens when you betray someone. They make sure people know who they're dealing with. Marcus's brother called me angry and protective of his younger sibling. You cheated on my brother, in Vegas, with some guy from work. It was more complicated than that. It sounds pretty simple, Marcus's brother said. You went to Vegas for work. You met up with a coworker. You had sex with him in his hotel room. You came home and lied about it. That's cheating. That's betrayal. Marcus is right to divorce you and to tell everyone why. He didn't have to make it public. Yes, he did, Marcus's brother said. You were going to keep it secret. You were going to let Marcus look like the bad guy for ending the marriage. He made it public so everyone knows the truth. So everyone knows you're the one who destroyed the marriage. That's appropriate consequence. The Facebook post continued spreading. Friends of friends sharing it. Comments piling up. People I barely knew weighing in on my infidelity. My name becoming synonymous with work trip cheating in our social circle. Someone even commented, "This is why people say, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, except when your coworker tells your husband and he posts about it on Facebook." That comment got 23 likes. My friend Ashley was one of the few people who tried to be sympathetic. I saw Marcus's post. That's a really harsh way to handle finding out about infidelity. He's destroying my reputation. He's telling the truth, Ashley said. You did cheat in Vegas. You did lie about it. He's just being public about facts. That's not destroying your reputation. That's revealing what you actually did. I thought work trip stuff stayed private. There's no such thing as private when you're caught, Ashley said. You thought you could cheat and keep it secret. Someone told Marcus. He decided to make it public. That's his right. You betrayed him. He gets to tell people why he's divorcing you. Everyone is judging me because you cheated on your husband at a work conference, Ashley said. That's worthy of judgment. You made choices. Now you face consequences. One of those consequences is public knowledge of what you did. That's what Marcus decided was fair. The HR investigation concluded after 2 weeks. My boss called me back to the office. We've completed our investigation into the incident in Las Vegas. Multiple witnesses confirmed that you and Daniel Reeves engaged in inappropriate conduct at a company event. You left the hotel bar together. You went to his hotel room. You returned to your own room hours later. This violated our code of conduct regarding professional behavior at company events. What's the outcome? You're being terminated, my boss said, effective immediately. The relationship with Daniel should have been disclosed to HR per company policy. The public nature of this incident, thanks to your husband's social media posts, has created reputational risk for the company. We can't have employees whose personal scandals become public in ways that reflect on our organization. You're firing me because Marcus posted about it. We're firing you because you violated company policy by having an undisclosed relationship with a colleague and engaging in inappropriate conduct at a company event, my boss said. The fact that it became public through your husband's actions just made it impossible to handle quietly. You're terminated for cause. You'll receive your final paycheck but no severance. I lost my job because I'd cheated in Vegas, because Jennifer told Marcus, because Marcus made it public, because my affair became a scandal that embarrassed my employer. Daniel was also fired according to the company-wide email that went out the next day. We want to inform all employees that Daniel Reeves and Nina Morrison are no longer with the company due to policy violations at a recent company event. We take professional conduct seriously and will not tolerate behavior that violates our code of conduct. Everyone at my former company knew why we'd been fired. The whole sales team knew. Everyone who'd been at the Vegas conference knew. It became office gossip. The story of 2 employees who hooked up in Vegas and lost their jobs when one of their spouses made it public. The divorce proceeded quickly. Marcus's lawyer was aggressive. Marcus wanted nothing from me except to be free from the marriage. We divided assets, split our savings, put the house on the market. He kept most of our furniture since he'd paid for it. I got my personal belongings and half our joint accounts. At the final divorce hearing, Marcus's lawyer made a statement. Mr. Morrison is seeking divorce based on adultery. Mrs. Morrison engaged in sexual relations with a coworker during a business trip to Las Vegas. She lied about the encounter upon returning home. Mr. Morrison learned of the affair from a colleague and chose to make the infidelity public rather than allow it to remain secret. This divorce is uncontested, as Mrs. Morrison has acknowledged the affair. The judge granted the divorce without hesitation. 4 months after Vegas, I was divorced, unemployed, living in a small apartment, dealing with destroyed reputation in my social and professional circles. All because I'd hooked up with Daniel thinking what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, and Marcus decided to make it completely public instead. My job search was brutal. Recruiters would Google me, find Marcus's Facebook post, find the company email about my termination, connect the dots that I'd been fired for having an affair with a coworker at a company event. One recruiter was direct. I'm seeing some concerning information about your departure from your last position. Can you explain what happened? There was an incident at a company conference that led to my termination. An incident involving an inappropriate relationship with a colleague, the recruiter asked. It was a personal matter. It became public when your ex-husband posted about it on social media, the recruiter said. That's what comes up when I search your name. Multiple people commenting on your affair, your termination. It's a red flag for potential employers. You'll struggle to get hired at a comparable level. She was right. I ended up taking a lower-level position at a smaller company for 40% less than my previous salary. It was humiliating, but necessary. I needed income, needed something on my resume. 6 months after Vegas, Marcus had moved on. New girlfriend, according to social media. Someone who presumably didn't think work trip affairs were acceptable. Someone who valued fidelity. Daniel had also moved to a different city and was working at a new company. The Vegas hookup had cost him his job too. And I was alone in my small apartment, underemployed, carrying a reputation as someone who cheated on her husband in Vegas and got caught when a coworker told him, and he made it public. I said what happens on a work trip stays on a work trip. My husband made it public. And I learned that nothing stays private when you're caught, that coworkers won't always maintain discretion, that spouses who discover affairs can choose to tell everyone, that making infidelity public is a valid response to being betrayed. That work trip culture doesn't protect you from consequences when someone decides to expose what you did. Marcus is thriving now. New relationship, new life, moved on completely from our marriage. He made sure everyone knew why we divorced. Made sure I couldn't control the narrative. Made sure the truth was public rather than allowing me to keep it private. That's my story. That's my consequence. That's what happens when you think you can cheat on a work trip and keep it secret. When you assume everyone will maintain discretion. When your husband decides making your affair public is fair consequence for betrayal. When what you wanted to stay in Vegas gets broadcast to everyone you know instead. Onami krahananurni, ofilnailetsanurn. 8 months after Marcus made my Vegas affair public, I was still dealing with the cascading consequences of that decision. The Facebook post had been shared dozens of times, screenshot and discussed in local Facebook groups. My name and face associated permanently with cheated on work trip to Vegas. Finding housing had been difficult. Landlords would Google my name during application reviews. Find Marcus's post. See the controversy. Some rejected my applications outright. Others asked uncomfortable questions during viewings. One landlord was particularly direct. I saw some concerning information online about your divorce. Your ex-husband claims you had an affair on a business trip. That was a private matter between us. He made it very public, the landlord said. Posted about it on social media. Multiple people shared it. That kind of drama concerns me in a tenant. I need stable, reliable tenants who won't bring personal scandals to my property. My personal life won't affect my ability to pay rent. It already has, the landlord said. You lost your job because of the affair. You're underemployed now. Your income dropped significantly. Those are consequences of your choices, and those consequences make you a risky tenant. I eventually found a small apartment in a less desirable area. The landlord hadn't Googled me or didn't care about what he found. It was expensive relative to my reduced income, but it was all I could get. My mother visited once, looked around with barely concealed disappointment. This is quite a change from the house you shared with Marcus. It's temporary until I can rebuild. This is where you ended up because Marcus made your affair public, my mother said. You're living here because everyone knows what you did, because employers won't hire you at your previous level, because landlords are hesitant to rent to you. These are all consequences of Marcus making sure the truth was public. He didn't have to destroy my reputation. He didn't destroy it, my mother corrected. He revealed it. You destroyed your own reputation by cheating. Marcus just made sure people knew about it. There's a difference. You wanted to control the narrative, keep it secret. He made sure the truth was public instead. It feels like punishment. It feels like accountability, my mother said. You wanted to keep your affair private so you could avoid consequences. Marcus removed that option by making it public. Now you face full consequences. That's not punishment. That's appropriate response to betrayal. My sister was equally unsympathetic when we talked. Are you still dealing with people knowing about Vegas? Everyone knows. It's been 8 months and people still bring it up. Still judge me for it. Because Marcus made sure everyone knew, my sister said. He posted about it publicly, emailed families, made it impossible for you to hide or minimize what you did. That was strategic. It was vindictive. It was smart, my sister corrected. You would have tried to control the story, make yourself the victim, claim Marcus was leaving you for no reason. He prevented that by telling everyone exactly why he was divorcing you. Now there's no ambiguity. Everyone knows you cheated in Vegas. People are still judging me months later. Because they should, my sister said bluntly. You cheated on your husband at a work conference. That's worthy of ongoing judgment. The fact that people still care about it months later just shows how serious it was. You destroyed a 7-year marriage for one night with a coworker. That's not something people forget quickly. Dating was impossible. Any potential partner would eventually Google my name. Find Marcus's Facebook post, see the public discussion of my affair, lose interest immediately. One man I'd been messaging with for a week found the post and confronted me. I searched your name, found a Facebook post from your ex-husband saying you cheated on him in Vegas with a coworker. Is that true? It's more complicated than that. It sounds pretty straightforward, he said. You went to Vegas for work, hooked up with a colleague. Your husband found out and posted about it publicly. That's not complicated. That's you cheating and getting caught, and your husband making sure everyone knew about it. That was months ago. But it's still the first thing that comes up when I search you, he said. Your ex-husband made sure it's permanently part of your digital footprint. That tells me 2 things. 1, you cheated. 2, you hurt someone badly enough that they felt making it public was appropriate consequence. I'm not interested in dating someone with that history. He unmatched immediately. Professional consequences continued. My current job was beneath my skills and experience. My boss knew about the Vegas incident, had found it during my background check, and treated me accordingly. I want to be clear about expectations, my boss said during a performance review. You're here because we needed someone with your experience at a discount rate. Your previous position paid significantly more. But your circumstances, the termination from your last company, the public nature of that termination, mean you're not in a position to negotiate. I understand. I need to know you won't bring similar drama to this workplace, my boss continued. No inappropriate relationships with colleagues, no scandals, no situations that could become public and embarrass the company. Your last employer had to deal with your affair becoming a social media controversy. I won't tolerate that here. That won't happen. It better not, my boss said, because if it does, you're terminated immediately. You're on permanent probation here. One misstep and you're gone. That's the reality of your situation given your history. I was professionally damaged permanently. Would always be the person who had the Vegas affair that became public. Would always be the person whose ex-husband posted about their infidelity on Facebook. Would always be limited in career advancement because of one choice in Vegas. Marcus's Facebook post remained up, still visible to anyone who searched for me or him, still showing up in search results, a permanent record of my infidelity and his decision to make it public. Some of the comments on the post continued accumulating months later. This is why you can't trust people on work trips. What happens in Vegas was supposed to stay in Vegas, Lowell. Good for you for making it public. People deserve to know who they're dealing with. Your ex-wife destroyed a 7-year marriage for a hookup. That's wild. Hope you find someone who values commitment. 147 reactions had grown to 203. 63 comments had grown to 87. The post lived on, a permanent monument to my worst choice and Marcus's decision to publicize it. My father called 10 months after Vegas. People in our community still talk about what happened, still reference Marcus's Facebook post. You're known as the woman who cheated in Vegas and got exposed. I can't control what people say. Marcus controlled it, my father said, by making it public immediately, by telling both families, by posting on Facebook. He made sure everyone knew the truth before you could spin it or minimize it. That was smart. It ruined my reputation. Your choices ruined your reputation, my father corrected. Cheating in Vegas ruined it. Marcus just made sure people knew about it. If you'd been discreet, if no one had told him, if he'd kept it private, then your reputation would be intact, but built on lies. This way, your reputation accurately reflects what you actually did. So I'm just supposed to accept being known as a cheater forever. You are a cheater, my father said. You cheated on Marcus in Vegas. That's a fact. Whether people know that fact or not doesn't change what you did. Marcus chose to make people aware of the facts. That's his right as someone you betrayed. My therapist tried to help me accept the permanence of the public consequences. Marcus made your affair public. That's not changing. The Facebook post will exist indefinitely. People who know both of you will always know what happened. How do you cope with that? I hate that everyone knows. Why? My therapist asked. Because they know the truth? Or because you wanted to control how people saw you? Because I wanted my private life to be private. But you involved other people in your private life, my therapist said. You involved Jennifer, who saw you with Daniel. You involved everyone at the hotel bar. You involved Daniel. Once you involved other people, it wasn't truly private anymore. It was semi-public. Marcus just made it fully public. He didn't have to tell everyone. He chose to tell everyone as consequence for your betrayal, my therapist said. That was his decision to make. You made a decision to cheat. He made a decision to publicize it. Both of you made choices. Now you both live with the outcomes. How do I rebuild my life when everyone knows what I did? By accepting that this is part of your story now, my therapist said. You cheated in Vegas. You got caught. Your husband made it public. Those are facts. You can't change them. You can only decide how to move forward knowing that people will always know this about you. That feels impossible. It feels uncomfortable, my therapist corrected, but it's possible. You rebuild by being honest about what you did, by accepting appropriate consequences, by not trying to minimize or deny, by becoming someone who makes better choices going forward. The past is fixed. The Facebook post is permanent. People knowing is permanent. Your job now is to build a future while accepting that your past is public knowledge. 1 year after Vegas, I ran into Marcus at a grocery store. He was with his girlfriend, the one from social media. They looked happy and comfortable together. Marcus saw me, nodded once in acknowledgement, kept shopping with his girlfriend, dismissed me as easily as he'd dismissed our marriage once he discovered what I'd done. His girlfriend noticed me watching them, whispered something to Marcus. He whispered back. She looked at me with an expression I recognized, judgment mixed with pity. She knew who I was, knew I was the ex-wife who'd cheated in Vegas. Marcus had obviously told her the story. That hurt more than anything. The realization that Marcus had moved on completely, had found someone new, had shared the story of my betrayal with her, and she'd chosen to be with him anyway, full knowledge of what his last marriage had ended like. I was permanently marked by Marcus's decision to make my affair public, while he was thriving with someone new who knew exactly what I'd done and chose him anyway. My friend Sarah checked in 1 year after everything fell apart. How are you doing with everything? Is it getting easier? Not really. People still know. Still judge me. The Facebook post is still up. My reputation is permanently damaged. Do you understand why Marcus did it? Sarah asked. To punish me. To protect himself, Sarah corrected. To make sure you couldn't control the narrative. To ensure people knew why he was leaving. To prevent you from making yourself the victim. That's not punishment. That's self-protection. It destroyed my life. Your choices destroyed your life, Sarah said. Cheating in Vegas destroyed your marriage. Getting caught destroyed your privacy. Marcus making it public destroyed your ability to hide from consequences. Each step followed logically from the one before. I wish I could take it back. You can't, Sarah said. It happened. Marcus publicized it. Everyone knows. That's permanent. The only question is what you do next, knowing that your past is public knowledge and will remain so. 13 months after Vegas, I was slowly accepting my new reality. Lower-paying job with no advancement potential. Small apartment in a less desirable area. No dating prospects, because everyone who Googles me finds the story. Damaged reputation that follows me everywhere. Family members who still bring up what happened with disappointment. I said, what happens on a work trip stays on a work trip. My husband made it public, and I learned that nothing stays private when you're caught by someone who decides consequences should include public knowledge. That coworkers won't always keep secrets. That spouses who discover betrayal can choose exposure over privacy. That Facebook posts are permanent records. That one night in Vegas can become public knowledge that follows you forever. That you can't control narratives when someone else decides truth matters more than your reputation. Marcus is engaged according to social media, building a life with someone who knows exactly what ended his first marriage and chose him anyway. Someone who values honesty and fidelity. Someone who would never say, what happens on a work trip stays on a work trip. Daniel reportedly moved cities and is working at a smaller company. Also carrying the reputation of someone who hooked up with a married coworker in Vegas and lost his job when it became public. And I'm alone with the permanent consequences of one night I thought would stay private. Living with Facebook posts that won't go away. Dealing with family members who saw the photos Jennifer sent Marcus. Working at a job beneath my qualifications because my termination story is the first thing that comes up in searches. Dating no one because my affair is public knowledge.